Good afternoon. Welcome to Common Ground. My name is Fernandito Bossa. Today I am sitting in for Sheriff Steve W. Thompson. The Suffolk County today is presenting our guest, Michelle DeFranco, President and CEO of ImEx Cargo. So we're going to let her tell a little bit about what she does and how she does it. But we also want to wish everyone who's watching today and throughout the week happy holidays, happy Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and Happy Hanukkah. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Fernandito, for having me. I'm excited to be your guest.
It's a pleasure to have you here. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Let's begin with ImEx Cargo. What is ImEx Cargo?
So everybody asked about that. ImEx was, the name actually comes from import-export logistics. Basically, that's what I've been doing for the last 25 years. I am in cargo transportation. So we move, big and small projects pretty much all around the world. I do have a couple of different diverse products. I work with direct shippers and some freight forwarders, so I have a wholesale and a retail business. But mainly my experience has been in cargo transportation for the last 25 years, and we do import, export. We handle air freight, ocean freight, domestic trucking, warehousing, distribution services, packaging. You name it, the gamut of supply chain solutions is really what we do.
Good. So that means that basically, which is, any time is a good time for shipping.
Yes.
But even especially more the holidays.
Yes.
And where your packages or the gifts that you're sending to your loved ones will appropriately get there one way or another, whether it's air, by water, or by land.
Right.
And basically you said large or small, so there's really doesn't matter what you're shipping, it's gonna go, right?
It really doesn't matter what you're shipping. We have a bunch of different products. We have a small package service, and then really our business is kind of niche in that we actually represent really large airline carriers. And we represent them in the New England market because many of them are not in New England. And so we serve the market in New England and New York to the freight forwarding business, and we provide those services on a wholesale basis. So they'll have like really large scale products and shipping projects that go on anywhere in the world, really.
That's interesting. And you're in East Boston.
I am in East Boston. I'm a quarter of a mile from the airport. It's very convenient. The interesting product work that you're talking about for seasonal stuff, I handle a lot of the Caribbean and Latin American products, for people that really want to ship things back home to their families, whether they be for Christmas, all the holidays. Carnival is really big in a lot of the islands, as well as birthday gifts. So, we have a small package service that goes from 0 to 10 pounds, up to 60 pounds is still considered a small package to us. And then we handle, I've handled stuff like one-of-a-kind, $1 million Porsches that were, for trade shows over in Europe, bring the car in, bring the car back. And, some of the challenging things is that you can't start the car. You're putting it on airline pallets and, you're putting that with a flatbed truck and the car can't be started, there can't be gas in there. And so it's, intricate projects like that that always kind of make the job a little exciting and challenging.
That is exciting and challenging. I would ask that I've never shipped anything, but if I wanted to ship something, do I have to buy the box and put it in myself and bring it to you, or how does it work? Or can I just bring you the things and you? So how does that work?
It's basically both. I carry some barrels in the warehouse now. I have the fiberboard and the plastic barrels. The plastic barrels a lot of times get recycled and they'll collect rainwater at some of the islands and things like that. So I do carry that for the customers. I do have some boxes in there, but you can bring your own. You can bring your own boxes. You can use your own barrels. So just as you would show up at the post office or like a DHL or a FedEx with your box, you come, the box will be all taped up and have your name on there and who it's going to. Then we help you fill out all the proper shipping documents and make sure that everything is safe and packaged properly before it gets shipped. So that's pretty much what we do at the East Boston facility if you're an individual customer. Some of the other things that we do for like the island and Latin America, Central America, a lot of times people want to be buried back home. So we work with funeral homes, hospices, the churches, in order to make the proper burial arrangements and shipping the bodies back home.
Oh.
So we do a lot of different things. It's probably the biggest question I get asked all the time is, what do I ship? And
Yeah.
I ship whatever you're shipping. I haven't, it's funny, the commodities that you come across that you don't really think about, but we really keep the whole global environment moving, because if you look at, the labels on your tie or your shirt or your watch, and you really look to see where the product is coming from, there's not a lot that's made here in the USA.
That's right.
So we're constantly, bringing in goods from all over the world and exporting goods in the same manner.
Right. I know that you also give back to the community as well. I know that you've are very involved in every community throughout Boston or Massachusetts, and you've also participated in festivals, and you sponsor events, which is a very nice thing, which most events look for, or festivals always like sponsorships. But as well as you're very visible in the community, because there are businesses sometimes that have that name and label, and you don't ever see a face with the business. It's just you see them maybe on a print or in a commercial, and of course paid actors, but you never see the person behind and who really is running the company. And I remember when I first saw you in an article, and I was like, wow, that lady's running a business like that. Wow, that's got to be exciting. I got to get to know you, and it was just fascinating to learn how your business moved, and literally how big it is, and where you are, and the locations that impressed me. So you, again, give back to the community. You're involved in the community. You get to meet so many different cultures. Any experience or any thoughts on that? Because it's a lot of people you meet.
That's funny. I think the biggest thing probably for me is that everybody will say that I am a people person. So you have to really want to be there, and you have to really want to meet people. I like to say that I'm inclusive. I really enjoy to learn about other people's cultures. So I think that's what also keeps me involved. So, for different products, I meet a lot of different people. So if I'm in the Latin community and I'm sponsoring events, I'm getting to know all the people. I'm eating the food and, enjoying the music at the festivals. So for me, it's important to be there and to understand what my clients are really looking for. If I'm not on the ground, then I don't really know. And I always one of the things I always say to my staff is that I would never ask you to do something I haven't already done in my own company, so I know what it takes. And so, I think that's important as well, to keep growing. So I do like being out in the community. I give back to a lot of different communities. And, most of the time it's something that I'm serving in, because it just makes it a little bit easier. But sometimes it's just something I'm just passionate about, and I like to give back.
Yeah, and I know that because reading about you in different articles and seeing you in different articles, where I remember one time we sort of played a little host on you, and we put you on the Forbes magazine because you were just like everywhere and just giving. And I was like, wow, this is incredible how you are and what you do in your business. So tell me a little bit about before. Maybe let's go back a little bit and tell me a little bit about before, maybe what you were doing before you started doing that, or how you got involved in this kind of business.
I'm going to tell you a really interesting story. So I've owned my own company now 16 years this year, and before that I spent 9 years doing freight forwarding, which is really where I got all the background and the logistics experience. Different from what I'm doing today in the company, but it gave me a really well-rounded understanding of really how to move cargo. And before that, I was actually in banking. So I was in commercial lending for almost 9 years at Bank of New England, who had then gone under, and then it was Fleet Bank. And interestingly enough, I was chosen this past March to be in the Emerging Leaders Program with the SBA. And it was a 7-month course, kind of like a mini master's program. And so they had the whole graduation ceremony, and it was really nice. But basically what you got there was a whole host of family in the SBA, and they're actually there to really provide the support to help your business grow. And the reason why I was selected was because it was really just a unique business in the city, you know, something that's really not so often run by a woman.
Right.
You know, a lot of people, you know, really didn't, you know, think about that. And I didn't really know that I was really one of a handful until I got to, you know, the certification process. But I'll tell you about that in a little bit. So interestingly enough, I come off of the stage at the SBA graduation, and I turn and I just happen to glance over by the door, and there is my old boss from the bank that I had left 25 years ago to pursue logistics. And there he was with a big smile and a thumbs up. So so he was, it was a proud moment. And so it's kind of one of those things where, you know, you give positive back, and hopefully you receive, you know, the positive as well. Because, you know, maybe he wouldn't have been so happy, you know, that I left, or who knows, you know.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting to see how things come full circle 25 years later. Now he's the president of the highest lending SBA lender. And, you know, so I thought, how interesting, you know, that here he was at this ceremony. So,
You know, it's funny you say that, because I used to attend a lot of those meetings, but I used to go there with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I was learning a lot, but I didn't have a business, and I always kept saying, what kind of business can I do? I mean, what can I do? Who would invest?
Right.
What can I do? And it's like, and I was just all over the place, and I couldn't pinpoint, like, what do I want to do? What kind of business I wanted to have? And, you know, and then it started to trickle down. Then I'd have one thought, and then all of a sudden, they'd be thinking like, well, you got to put a business plan together,
Right.
and you got to look at investors, and you got to look at locations and demographics, and you got to study this. And I was like, it's a lot of work. I said,
Sure is.
I was like, I don't know, you know. But I was feeling good, because at those meetings they make you feel so good that you do feel part of that. You feel
Yes.
accepted of, you know, what it feels like to be, you know, a business legit owner of a company, and
yeah,
you know, they
and
really
it's
make you
somebody
feel
else
good.
rooting for your business to
Yeah.
grow. Because most times, if you're an entrepreneur and you're a small business, you know, you spend a lot of hours and, you know, wearing many hats and a lot of hours in the day. But it's not something that you feel like, hey, there's a whole bunch of people that are just rooting for me to succeed. And, you know, at the SBA family, that's actually how I felt. There were the resources, they gave us the tools, they made proper introductions, and they're probably going to continue to be a part of my company's growth going forward. So I thought that was really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, 7-month training.
It was
and all
it
that.
was very yes, it was very involved.
Yeah, and I'm seeing today now that a few people now also kind of getting into airline businesses too. You know, like I have a couple of friends now that are now going that way too. But it seems like, you know, it's just a great business to be taking off.
Right? Well, you know, I mean, our worlds are becoming smaller and smaller every day, you know, with global trade. I mean, that's the truth of it. You know, we might not look at it in that manner, but, you know, the roads, the trucks that are on the road, they're carrying product, they're bringing food to your table, our tables, every day. And so, you know, we really couldn't live without the people that do logistics, like myself and my, you know, companies like mine, really to keep the global economy going. Interestingly enough, you know, we think of it in, you know, just in terms of, you know, cargo moving all around the world, but it's interesting that the factors that are global in the business, you know, they really affect everything that we do. So the price of fuel, security threats, terror threats, you know, currency manipulation, currency devaluation, those are all factors that, you know, will fluctuate whether air or ocean kind of goes up and down. So we're very sensitive to the market. We're very sensitive to the market.
Yeah, I was listening on my way here actually to the stocks right now, how they are, where they are, and obviously with the new changes in politicians and all that, you know, there'll be some changes in that too. But you know, it's staying in tune always staying above the market and listening to everything,
Exactly.
where it's moving. So let's go back a little more now. So So let's go back because you're also into music. So let's go back into a little bit of the music part. One of my favorites, because you're also into music. And tell me a little bit about that part of you.
So that kind of happened by accident. My partner is in music. He's a record producer, singer for a really long time. And at first I was just kind of looking at it as an investment opportunity and, putting out a CD. I thought how exciting, learning how to make a CD and things like that. And then it really dawned on me that I really wanted to be on the other side of the business and, just kind of producing music for like other artists and things like that. So we started a small indie record label, we have about 6 artists on there. We have everything from rap, reggae, R&B, blues, rock. I have a Christmas album out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's interesting. For me, having that time to do a little bit of artistic creativity, than the normal grind and grind of logistics, it keeps things interesting for sure.
Yeah, of course. You're not a musician, though.
I am not a musician.
A singer.
I am not anything. You definitely don't want to hear me sing. I did write a couple of the tracks, and I had a couple of artists that performed some of the tracks, but nothing crazy or yeah.
Yeah, and I remember I got a chance to visit your site and beautiful layout and a beautiful studio and everything.